The day we heard that Stefan had taken his own life was the 9th of March 2016, and I was supposed to be in work that day, but I'd taken the day off, and there's a ring at the doorbell, and on the doorsteps there's this very nervous looking policeman. I looked about 12 years old, like they do, and so he said, "Can you come in?" He stood in front of me while I sat back down again, and I could tell how anxious and upset and nervous he was. And then he said, the worst words I've ever heard in my life. He said, "Are you the biological mother of Stefan James Osgood?" And you know it's not going to be good after that, don't you? And then when he said to me, "We don't know how he's died. We can't tell you anymore. I'm awfully sorry." And it was like being floored completely. It's like you think you've had a bad day, you think you've had some bad times in your life, and it's nothing compared to that single moment when you actually realise your child's dead. He'd had some bouts of depression in the past, since he was mid-teens really, and we just assumed that all of these things were in his past because he never showed us anything. And if I can show you, this is how I feel about it. This is the last selfie that he took, my handsome boy. And this is the side of him that we saw. Okay, so he's just happy and confident, and his life's amazing. And he'd been home the fortnight before, and with his girlfriend, we'd had such a brilliant weekend. And that's what makes it so surreal, that all the time he was hiding that side of him. And you think, this is his selfie, this is the last selfie that he took, and that's how he felt. He'd been to Aberystwyth Hospital to visit A&E the Christmas before he took his life, and had arrived in A&E and asked for help. He said he was suicidal and he'd been self-harming. He had a 45-minute discussion with the crisis nurse there, who, because he was well-spoken and he'd had pizza, there was never my son was never that bad he would need pizza, and articulate, and she said he maintained eye contact, thus was fine, discharged him without any follow-up. In February he attends A&E again, self-harming and with ideation of suicide, and he waited and then didn't stay, and I know why he didn't stay, and it's because he's cried out for help at Christmas and it's not been taken seriously, and he's felt an idiot, he's felt a fool having asked for help, and he's changed his mind and left before he's had a chance to speak to anybody. And that was the last time he tried to access any help, and less than a month later he took his life. I've always been very open about talking about Stefan and his death, because I feel if it can happen to me, it can happen to anybody, and if it can happen to anybody, everybody needs to know about it. And so I felt that we should be talking about it, and we should be sharing what we think. And so I don't hide it, and I don't lie about it, I don't pretend about it. If it comes up, I'm honest about it, even though it's painful, because I feel the more we talk about it and the more people are aware of who it's happened to, the better it will be, God forbid, when it happens to people in the future. The university have completely changed their policy on mental health and mental health issues. They've launched this campaign, the Students' Union launched this massive campaign called Stefans Socks, because my son always used to wear bright pink socks when he was fencing, like you do. And the whole university, all the sporting teams, and in fact other universities in Wales do it as well. So when they meet for what they call books, which is all the different universities compete, loads of them wear bright pink socks now to raise awareness for mental health issues. I'm so grateful to Amparo for the support that I had then, because it has changed everything really for me for the better. I believe that the support you get, not counselling, the support you get in the first few months after you've been bereaved, especially in this way, has a massive impact on your outcomes later on how well you end up coping and how well your life goes afterwards. the support that I had from Charlie in terms of coping with the protocols and the things that happen after and facing an inquest. I didn't even realise what an inquest was, or that all of this stuff was heading our way, and I certainly was in no fit emotional state to deal with the coroner's office in Wales. So I feel like we need an opportunity for people to come and access help in an open manner before they get to this desperate stage. And people know they're feeling low, they know that they're not right, and that there's not really the opportunity for them or the awareness of where to go for help. And if you go to a doctor or you go to the hospital, it's a very clinical environment. And I feel like there should be somewhere that they can go that they all know about. You know, it's all sort of shrouded in mystery. Where do you go if you have a mental health issue? Unless you're critical, you're not going to come up on the radar. And why do we wait until they're desperate, self-harming or suicidal, when actually to access help far earlier on in a less informal, less clinical way, I think would make a huge impact. And that's how I feel. I think if my son had been seen within 24 hours of that one at Christmas, he'd be here today, and I wouldn't be here talking to you. And he would be eating my roast lamb in the kitchen where he should be.